The next person with censor monkey tendencies I will talk about is a man kind of much further down the political spectrum from Ms. Ford. That is Glenn Beck. We all know Glenn Beck as a political conspiracy theorist with an obvious delusion of grandeur who cries way too often.
I'm just a guy who cares an awful lot about my country.
You could say his militant patriotism makes him the American monkey. His plea to return to old-fashioned traditional values makes him the Victorian monkey, and his rather bizarre kind of, I guess, friends with benefits kind of relationship with God makes him the preacher monkey.
I'm your God. You're my people. If you reject me as your God and you pick other gods, I can't take you as my people anymore.
He's also the one who thinks that Barack Obama is a communist, a Muslim, and a Nazi, all at the same time. Not really considering that if those three individuals were in the room together, they would not get along. And yet, somehow, they all cohabitate within Obama's head peacefully. Makes sense to him.
Straw man, slippery slope, dumb guy might have a point.
But the part about Glenn Beck's empire that really, what? Okay, yeah. Would be hypocritical of me not to mention the Nazi I have among my censor monkeys.
Sure.
But I'm not accusing anyone of potential genocide like what Glenn Beck is doing. No, my Nazi monkey is a satirical representation of a lot of these strong-arm tactics that these people use to push their agendas. Stuff like intimidation and veiled threats.
You're gonna be on Gawker.
That sort of thing. Okay, so we're all clear? Good.
Ah, it's so good, eh?
Now we're getting to the part of Glenn Beck's empire that caught my attention.
Independence, USA.
Yep. Glenn Beck and his followers want to secede from the United States and live in their own ultimate utopian safe space. It'll have everything. It'll have, the shopping malls and the parks and...
It's the media center.
Yep. Media center.
This is a full movie studio.
Yep. Glenn and his sycophants will officially cut themselves off from the world by making their own movies.
We want to make real movies and real television, but one that doesn't constantly assault the things that we all stand for, common decency. Let's just go with that one.
And he wants to have all the movies adhere to his view of common decency.
Isn't that dumb?
Glenn, you do not want to run a studio that way. As an example, Walt Disney ran his studio that way, in that every project had to get filtered through him to meet his standards. And while his studio did produce many masterful works that are still impressive today, he did anger and disgruntle a lot of employees, leading to a massive strike in 1941. And prior to that, in 1929, there was another massive walkout, and many of those artists went to Warner Brothers to make the Looney Tunes.
So long, folks!
So if you're going to run that studio in such a despotic way, and you won't have any cash cow juggernauts keeping you afloat like, Mickey Mouse or Snow White, that studio's not going to do so well. My suggestion would be to give your artists absolute artistic freedom. I mean, hey, maybe you won't like 100% of the stuff that's coming out of the studio, and that's fine. But every production will be honest and full of integrity, and that's what we need more of in the movie industry.
Amen. Amen. Can I get an amen this evening?
If you want to be the grand poobah of your own island paradise, go right ahead. I don't think anyone's going to stop you. just try to be more of a benevolent leader and make sure everybody, especially in your media establishment, whatever you called it, has a voice.
Well, it was fun while it lasted, Fred. But it's all over.
Are you willing to do that, Glenn?
It's time to turn some tables over.
All right, be a big stupid baby. Pathetic. Someone else who was pathetic. Tipper Gore.